Isn't we supposed to be having a fiesta?
Watch this.
Hey, what's going on, my international amigos of Spurs Nation? I hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you are in the world. Thank you for hanging out with us today here at Spurs Film Room Live. Got a great show for you today. Got a JD and Big Joe from Spurs and Salsa, their podcast. The link is in the description below. So if you like what you see here, go check out their content. The link is down there. Just go ahead and click see more, and then you guys will get the link. We're going to talk a little bit about KJ in Las Vegas and what we thought about his play there. A little bit of our NBA draft favorites, right? Very interested to see what JD and Joe have, who they have on their big board. Then we're going to talk a little bit about expectations for next season and kind of what our high, low, best, worst case scenario is. And that includes talking a little bit about Demar DeRozan and all that. All right, so little preview there. Thank you guys for hanging out. Shout out to Patreon member Frenchie Betts. Just to let you guys know, if you want to support the show, you can do that in two ways. Just hit that subscribe button, like this video, hit the bell to be notified whenever we go live or whenever we drop new content on the channel. Go ahead and drop your comment in the live chat, or if you're watching this post live, go ahead and let me know where you're watching from in Spurs Nation. And if you agree with us or disagree with us, let us know in the comments below. And last but not least, share this video. And if you want to support this channel even more, go ahead and check out the Patreon link in the description below. You get extra perks such as giveaway entries, merch discounts, shout outs, and voting power. And you get a little bit of control of the channel. All right, guys. So on to the episode here with JD and Big Joe from Spurs and Salsa.
2, 1, 0, and lift off.
Hey, isn't we supposed to be having a fiesta?
Watch this.
Isn't we supposed to be having a fiesta?
Very special episode today, guys. We got JD and Big Joe over here from Spurs and Salsa. Guys, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us today. And first off, I want to get a little bit of a background check for my viewers right now. Those of y'all that are watching, JD is right here in the middle. What's going on, JD? And then we got Big Joe off to your left, maybe. Let me go ahead and scoot this out a little bit. Nah, yeah, we're good right here. But guys, let my viewers know a little bit about your podcast and kind of, what you guys do. It's more than just about Spurs basketball over there at Spurs and Salsa. So why don't you go ahead and give them a rundown? I'll throw it to you, JD.
All right, man. First of all, thanks for having us. We appreciate it. Spurs and Salsa. This is 2/3 of Spurs and Salsa. We're missing one member, but he's listening. Yeah, like you said, we do cover the Spurs primarily, but we also jump around in all the sports, especially the teams that San Antonio tends to like, Cowboys, Texans, Longhorns, Aggies, UTSA, anything involving sports. We try to focus on the teams San Antonio likes and the surrounding area. We also love to review food, local restaurants around town, local beer around town. We're very much into promoting local businesses. That's kind of how it started. We would always talk sports, and then we would always be looking for the best either new spots in town or just classics that you either take for granted or you haven't been since you were a kid, or you just have never been because a lot of people in San Antonio stick to their side of town. I guess you'd call us foodies. I don't know if that's accurate, but we do enjoy food. You can tell by our pictures, we enjoy food. But yeah, man, we love to have some fun. We also talk, some TV, a little bit of everything. But of course, it starts with the Spurs, and we always end the show with something local.
Awesome. Hey, Joe, why don't you give Spurs Nation here a little shout out on your take on y'all's pod, man?
Just like John said right now, talking about the Spurs, our love for the Spurs growing up in the city, our whole lives. Cowboys, definitely talk about that a lot. Texans. I don't think John mentioned the Incarnate Word, University Incarnate Word Cardinals. I mean,
Yes.
come on, guy. Got to mention that too.
Big Joe's our Cardinal.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
there you go.
I'm a road runner over here.
I mean,
All right.
Yeah.
I'm going there right now too, so I'm both.
Hey,
So.
there you
Hey,
go.
we're as San Antonio as it gets.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's right.
I think the food reviews are definitely one of my biggest things that I do, as you can tell, obviously, right here. But I think that's one of my favorite segments on there, and definitely the "What are you watching?" If you're not watching something like low key or something like that, you can listen in. We'll talk about it. We're not going to give away like big
We don't spoil
spoilers. So we'll kind of tippy toe around all the good stuff.
So Big Joe doesn't have kids, so
Okay.
he really contributes to what are we watching and the food, because he can go out and he hits the town, man. He hits it every weekend.
Yeah.
Either it's some place we always go and he'll just kind of go give him some love, or he's the one that usually hit the new spots first.
So where's the new taco spot that you guys are at right now in San Antonio?
Oh,
nothing new. I would say the biggest one, West Avenue taqueria.
Bro. Yes, I know.
And so I've been driving by there a lot lately because of my kid plays baseball down the street.
Yeah.
Man, they're growing so quick. They've added to the building. They bought the parking lot next to them, so for parking. Like, the word is out of that spot.
Yeah,
Definitely.
so check it out. I have a little story. I won't waste too much of y'all's time, but when I was going through college, right, the way that I kind of put myself through college is I would sell mangoes on West Avenue, just a little bit further down from that spot, right?
Really?
Yeah. So like I forget which street it is. It's like the second light. It's like after the Pizza Patron, right? Like, or they use. I don't know if it's still there or not.
Is it Bassie?
Yeah, I think so. So Bassie and West Avenue, there's like a corner there. There's an abandoned building, right? When I was in college, my dad works in the produce, world, whatever. So he would help me out and just give me mangoes to sell, right? So I would go post up there, and man, let me tell you, the mangoes fly on West Avenue just as much as those tacos do, bro.
Dude, mangoes fly everywhere in San Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
We were in between houses. I'll make it quick too. I bought a new house and it wasn't ready yet, so we stayed in an Airbnb downtown by the Market Square.
Yeah.
My kids made me walk to the market every day for mangoes.
Oh man.
Every day. Luckily, we're just across the street.
Yeah.
We were staying in an Airbnb. But man, they could eat that daily. You know what? My kid has practice right on that corner twice a week. If you were still there, even if we didn't meet on this podcast, we would have already met.
Man, I was there. Let me tell you, like all summer long, about, I don't know, 8 years ago. It was a while back, but yeah, man, I've seen plenty of that corner. Shout out to Roy Moss Youth Alternative. I think it's somewhere on that spot. It's a great nonprofit I used to work for. Anyways, so yeah, man. Shout out to West Avenue Tacos, man, over there in San Antonio. For sure.
I think one of your listeners commented they wanted another place. Depends on what kind of food. There are so many good restaurants that people don't know, like either don't know about because you don't leave your bubble, which I get. Growing up in San Antonio, a lot of us stay in our side of town, but the last few years we've been going all over the city looking for the best spots.
I think that one of the first things that Spurs and Salsa reviewed was I think Cullum's Atta Girl. That place, if you haven't been to Cullum's Atta Girl, I know is a wing spot. It's got more than wings now. It's been open for a while now. That place is top notch. You need to get there if you have not been there yet. They got beer, all kinds of craft beer, wings. They got brunch. You need to go get you some of Cullum's Atta Girl.
That's a hidden one. That is a good one because that's hidden. There's not even a sign. Like, you have to Google it and just trust that your Google Maps got you to the right spot because it's very small. There's no sign outside. It's kind of like, I know the kids say, if you know, you know. That's definitely one of those.
All right. So where about, like, what loop or what?
It's
where's
Cullum's
that?
Atta Girl. It's a block away from St. Mary's.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know the name of the street offhand. If you go on our Instagram account at Spurs and Salsa, we have all our food reviews. That's going to be towards the bottom because it's like one of the first ones we did.
Yeah.
The easiest way I can describe it, it's a block away from Tycoon Flats on St. Mary's.
All right. So Spurs Nation, those of y'all that are in Countdown City right now. I mean, if you guys aren't subscribed right now to Spurs and Salsa, you're doing yourself a disservice because you want to know where all the hot spots are and where the good food is, man. Because there's, like you said, there's plenty. And, you know, San Antonio is an underrated size. There's underrated size to San Antonio. And there's so many different areas that people just, like you said, just kind of stick to because there's a lot of good food around. So, yeah. So make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for letting them know all about that stuff. Now let's kind of get into some KJ in Vegas, right? I don't know about you guys, man. I was super excited just to hear he was on the squad. I know you guys were talking about it a little bit on your last episode, and you were saying, well, maybe that's a little sign of what's to come, right, with KJ. And I kind of thought the same thing for Derek White like 2 summers ago when he was on that FIBA team. But he came out, man. He showed out. He balled out. I'll tell you what. I was like a proud dad, man. I was like, oh my god, that's our KJ. In there.
Yeah, and it was best case scenario because first he tries out for the team. You know, Pop wants to get him some exposure.
Yeah,
he makes the squad, and I don't know if he goes to Tokyo or not. We'll see.
I don't think so. Yeah.
He makes the squad. He gets playing time, and he does exactly what he's been doing this year.
Yes.
So it was best case. If you're a Spurs fan, Keldon fan, best case scenario. He attacked the rim. He fought for rebounds. He wasn't intimidated at all by the stage.
Yeah.
The thing about Keldon is, I mean, he's a blue chipper. He was a blue chipper in high school. He went to Kentucky, blue chipper in college. For some reason, he fell to 29 in the draft. And when he played for Austin Spurs, he was an all-star. I mean, every level, he's a blue chipper. He cracked the starting lineup as soon as he made the Spurs and hasn't relinquished it yet.
Yeah.
Every level, every time you put him on a basketball court, he delivers. And again, he looked just like Keldon at FIBA level.
He's an A-class athlete that's been a part of A-plus class programs his entire life, like you said, all the way back to Oak Hill. And it's just like, bro, he out there, he looked just as big as everyone else. And it was just like, oh my God, KJ he's just blowing my mind right now. Joe, what are your thoughts on KJ?
Dude, he only knows one speed, and that's one thing to do. He only plays hard. That's all he does. I never see him take a second off in the game whenever he's in. Yeah. And he's always on the sideline cheering everybody on, hyping everybody up. So
he loves basketball.
He did amazing. I thought, just like JD said, it was the best case scenario about what we could have expected from KJ. So I'm excited for what the future holds for him and for the Spurs.
Let me tell you what, man. That's exactly what I said too. When he was out there doing it, I'm like, hey, now I was like, tell him, KJ. I'm always talking to the TV. I'm one of those guys.
Oh, we all do, yeah.
I'm always like, tell him, KJ. Tell him that's all day. That's what I do. All right, just get the offensive rebound, put it back. And it was, I'm always talking about the level of competition in Olympic basketball. Shout out to Sean Kelly. Thank you for the tip, my man. Appreciate you stopping by and hanging out with us today. I'm always talking about the competition level in Olympic basketball. I always like to say it's the hardest basketball you can play in the world. I think it's even, leaps and bounds in front of NBA, right? The rules really make NBA a little bit soft, right? It makes the game a little soft.
And we're seeing that with USA struggling. And so you're absolutely right. I mean, you've been vindicated. You've been validated with that comment the past couple of games.
Yeah, no, for real. But what's exciting is that KJ looked like he was just in a park game in the YMCA. You know what I mean? Like he was just out there with, like you said, not scared of the moment, man. So I was very excited and very happy to see KJ, man, out there. And y'all noticed it too, that Pop cut his hair.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I wonder what spawned it. I wonder if he just takes the role of representing America a little.
Yeah.
Maybe the military aspect of his mind came out and said, I need to be clean cut.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's what it was.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. It's interesting that he decided, because he made a conscious decision.
Yeah.
All right, Olympic ball, I'm cutting this.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, it was getting kind of ridiculous, I'm sad to say. I mean, Pop can do whatever he wants. But man, that was pretty long. It wasn't a good.
But I wanted a ponytail. I wanted him to come out.
Oh man bun Pop. I like it.
Or a ponytail with the media in his hair, like go throw, like get real hood.
I like it. All right, guys. So we're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we're gonna talk a little bit about the draft. I know it's coming up in about 2 weeks. So I'm just interested to know who your favorites are there at number 12. So when we get right back, we'll go ahead and get into it.
Hey, Isn't we supposed to be having a fiesta?
Watch this.
Those of you guys that are hanging out, thank you so much. Please smash that like button down below. Chant Go Spurs Go when you do. Hit that notification bell. Let us know where you're from, where you're watching from right now, or if you're watching live, post live. Go ahead and let me know exactly where you guys are. And shout out to you, Go Spurs Go. And share this video, Go Spurs Go. If you want to go above and beyond, you can go ahead and check the Patreon link in the description below. We do giveaway entries for all of the members in the Patreon, merch discounts, shout out to Frenchy Bets right now hanging out, and voting power. When the channel gets going a little bit more, you guys are going to get a vote on a lot of what we do here at Spurs Film Room. So thank you guys for hanging out. Again, make sure to check out the Spurs and Salsa podcast link in the description below to Spotify. You can catch all their content there as well. So, all right, guys, back to JD and Big Joe, Spurs and Salsa.
Hey, isn't we supposed to be having a fiesta?
Watch this.
All right, guys. So I've done about 2 mock drafts so far, and on my channel, I did one with a buddy, and then yesterday, actually, or on Monday, I did one like with the live chat, right? And so the first time, the San Antonio Spurs selected Zaire Williams, right? And the second draft, it was Josh Giddey, right? So that's kind of like a little bit of the pulse right now of where I'm feeling for Spurs Nation. I didn't make any of those picks, but I do like both of those guys. And so I was kind of wanted to see, Joe, I'm gonna throw it to you first. You know, who's on your board right now for the NBA draft?
Man, I'm all about Kai Jones right now. 6'11", flies around. We need somebody. We need a big, man. That's really what I'm looking for right now. I know that everybody's talking about we might need a guard. I think y'all are talking about Josh Giddey, and they talked about him last week also on the show. That he's a pretty big guy, lanky guy. But right now, for me, I think I'm going Kai Jones. He's number 1 on my board, so that's who I really like to see the Spurs get.
Okay, I like it. I know that he has a lot of upside. Like, you know, he's super athletic. I mean, super raw. I think, you know, he can really become almost anything you can mold him into being, you know, and the Spurs do that really well. They can figure out what, you know, like what he's going to be, and they can really train him from the get-go and get him by year 2, year 3, he can be something deadly. John, who's on your big board right now for San Antonio at 12?
So you hit the nail on the head with Kai Jones. I think he's got a good starting point for the Spurs. He already shoots the 3 ball all right, 38% from 3. I think Chip England can fix that to, you know, maybe in the 40s. The one thing about him is effort. He's got size, he's athletic, but effort and defense. A lot of defense comes down to effort. So I picture him right away being a good defender with Coach Pop, and he can already step out and shoot. I see Chip England making him almost elite shooter, not elite for a post player. He
like
just feels
like a catch and shoot, like
Yeah.
killer.
And so he just feels like a nice starting point where the Spurs can polish it off into maybe a star player. You mentioned Josh Giddey. That's who we talked about last week. What I like about him is his size and the fact that he's a playmaker. He distributes. One thing the Spurs don't have, I know he's not the best shooter, and this, you know, Spurs, we want shooters right now. We need shooters, but he's also a distributor that we don't quite have. We have some all right distributors. We have some solid guys, but I think Giddey can be a playmaker. The thing about Giddey is his shot needs more work, maybe even than Kai Jones. But again, Chip can fix that. I think with Giddey and Jones, those are 2 guys that you can create into stars. And I know some Spurs fans want help now, but we're not in a win now mode.
Yeah.
So if the Spurs see a player, and it might not be either one of those guys. I like Scotty Barnes, but he's starting to shoot up the draft. He's going the wrong direction from the Spurs.
Yeah.
But again, if they see someone that they can create into a star in 2 or 3 years, I am very good with that, because we're not competing for a title next year. Probably not the year after. but we'll see, right? We still have free agency. We'll talk about that later on the show.
Mhm.
But I'm very much okay with a project,
Mhm.
especially if you think it can become a superstar.
Yeah.
Because this draft is so deep, you need to, if you can, grab yourself a long-term superstar.
Mhm.
Because if the Spurs never bottom out, which we hope they don't, and it doesn't look like they will, we're gonna have to you know buy a few lotto tickets in the draft.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to try to shoot for someone that can potentially grow. I mean, like Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard,
Yeah.
we drafted him 14th, or we traded for him. He was picked 14th, and we waited until he became what he was, and that's enough about him. But same with Keldon. And Keldon, we're seeing a lot of that. So I'm very much okay with Giddey or Kai Jones because I think they're both lotto tickets that could pay off immensely.
Yeah.
If I have to pick between the two, I'll pick Kai Jones because I think he'll contribute to the Spurs quicker just because he can already shoot.
Mhm.
He's a big man that runs the floor really well, very athletic.
Mhm.
And I just think when you have someone that's athletic and got good size, like a DeJounte Murray, Derek White, at the very least, Pop will get a good defender out of you. Year 1, year 2. And then the shooting can come along after the fact.
Okay, so I think you're right on the money with Giddey. There's just something that's so difficult about scoring on our team. It's like, God dang, if it wasn't DeMar
And then
creating a shot or getting his own shot, it was tough. Like,
Yeah.
It
you know what I
was,
mean?
yeah.
It's like guys couldn't score. It's like, man, we were scared. Like only Rudy Gay was the only guy that was willing to really let it fly, and Patty Mills obviously too. Josh Giddey is a guy that I kind of comp to Tyrese Halliburton, like in the way that they just make the ball flow. They make the game flow. They're finding easy passes. They advance the ball. They don't hold on to it. They can hit the runner, you know what I mean? Or the trail guy wide open. And I feel like we do need some of that, even with our double point guard duo of DeJounte and Derek. I still call Derek a point guard. But I think even those two guys don't have that to their game necessarily. I think Derek can pass good enough. And so can DJ, but they're not really creators in that way. And so I'm asking you guys this question because I like to gauge what area, because there's a few areas, right, that the Spurs need to address on this team with the roster as is, right? Like which area do you want to address in the draft? So to me, you guys want to address size, right? Like an athleticism with Kai Jones. Like, do y'all guys have any thoughts on some of the other big men kind of around that pick? Is Alperen Şengün or Usman Garuba, right? Like maybe those are like two other bigs, a little different. They're all kind of different. But do any of those other two guys address like that issue for you at with the size? Joe, I'll throw it to you first.
The second guy, I can't say his name, what you just said right now, but
Garuba?
I have been seeing his name thrown around quite a bit for the Spurs 12th pick. And, I think it's just something about size and I think just athleticism. Like, don't get me wrong, Pirtle did great. I mean, I don't know at the second half, and I just need something more than Pirtle. I need somebody to make his own shot because Pirtle was kind of scared to shoot the ball. So I need somebody who can score and defend also, not just be there to play defense. Because 4 guys on this floor right now on offense isn't like helping out with us.
Yeah. What do you think, John?
My issue with both of those guys is they're not shooters. They feel more throwback bigs. And I don't know if that's going to work in today's NBA. I think they both have a lot of Pirtle in them, and we already have a Pirtle. We already have. No, I'm not disrespecting Pirtle. We have a old school, classic defender, rim protector, big. I want an athletic big that can shoot because the Spurs, and we don't need to get too much into Aldridge, but one thing Aldridge did add was he spaced the floor. And for Keldon and DeJounte specifically, they benefited more. The Spurs offense flowed a lot better when the floor was spaced. And I just want someone that can do that. And the two guys you mentioned, and we'd be asking a lot of Chip. I mentioned him a lot already, but we'd be asking a lot.
We already do.
We already do. At least with Kai Jones, he already has a shot, and we can just refine it to be deadly.
Yeah.
I think with those two bigs, you're just at that point, you're just drafting a big to get a big, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
In the NBA, at the end of the day, you draft best player available.
Yeah.
And you work out your roster after the fact.
Yeah, see, I'm with you guys. I think at 12, that's exactly what we got to do. We got to draft best player available with upside over fit or over or maybe not fit, because I think culture and fit with San Antonio is higher on the priority list than probably every other team in the NBA.
Yeah.
But I think that it's like with Devin Vassell. Like, I felt like we kind of needed Tyrese Halliburton last year, but it was like, bro, Devin Vassell was easily the best player available, like with potential off the charts defensively, and really fit the
Yeah.
Spurs, everything, culture and everything, right? So it just made more sense. And I think that they need to do that again this year. So I'm with you guys. All right. So when we get back, guys, we're going to talk a little bit about free agency and who out there that might be a free agent would you like to bring to San Antonio, and also maybe who we sign and trade DeMar for when we get right back. All right. So hang on, guys, and the show will be right back.
Hey, isn't we supposed to be having a fiesta?
Watch this.
Thank you guys for hanging out. Please smash that like button down below. Chant Go Spurs Go when you do. Let me know exactly where in the world you're watching from right now. We're a international bunch of amigos here that we call ourselves Spurs Nation. So thank you guys for hanging out. Again, if you enjoy the channel and you want to support the channel a little bit more and go above and beyond, you're already doing that by watching the show. So thank you so much for hanging out, man. Like this video, that helps us break through the YouTube algorithm. When you smash that notification bell, it lets you know whenever we're dropping new content. Comment, make sure that you guys are being respectful in the comments as well. Don't want you guys getting flagged for any, you guys can disagree with us and whatever, it's all good. But like I said before, we are all Spurs Nation, so let's keep it friendly down there in the comment box. Go ahead and share this video, guys, with the rest of Spurs Nation. Chant Go Spurs Go when you do. Hashtag Go Spurs Go. And tag me at Spurs Film Room on Twitter, Instagram, wherever you guys get your jam on. We're there. Also on Spotify and Apple. All right, guys. And also, if you want to support the channel even more than doing all that free stuff that it just takes you a few, scrolls and clicks on your phone to do, you guys can click the Patreon link in the description below. You can pledge to become a member and get some perks along the way. When it'll take you to a link. Sorry, the link will take you to the page that looks like this. You guys can choose your subscription level, whatever your jam is. I appreciate you guys a bunch. It really does go above and beyond. So, all right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get back to the episode here with Spurs and Salsa with JD and Big Joe. Make sure to click the link in the description below, and it'll take you over to their podcast, Spurs and Salsa. All right, guys, back to the show.
Hey, isn't we supposed to be having a fiesta?
Watch this.
So I'm not gonna spoil it too much, guys. But so everyone here that's listening, when you go back and listen to the most recent episode of Spurs and Salsa, they talk a little bit about DeMar DeRozan and a possible sign and trade with. This isn't breaking news, right? With the Lakers,
No.
right? And a player that you guys and a lot of people in Spurs Nation love is Kyle Kuzma, right? So I want you guys to sell me on Kyle Kuzma because I'm kind of on the fence. I've liked him, right? Like in his first 2 or 3 years of being in the NBA, but playing next to LeBron, I feel has lowered his stock, to I don't even know how low it can get. He's very much put in a box to me. So I think there's a lot of potential in that box still. So go ahead and sell me, guys, on Kyle Kuzma and why you think he's a good fit for the Spurs. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
All right.
So love's a strong word. I don't think we love him.
All right.
I love but what I do love is the idea of getting something back for DeRozan.
Mm-hmm.
What we said on the podcast made a lot of sense was if you're going to get anything back for DeRozan, it has to be a sign and trade, which means it has to be probably a contender. It has to be somewhere DeRozan wants to live, and it has to be somebody willing to give up assets for him. And with the Lakers, it makes a ton of sense. DeRozan's from there. He still lives there. They're missing a piece, obviously. They got bounced in the first round. They're in a win now mode. DeRozan's going to be, is he 32 already or going to be 32?
Mm-hmm.
DeRozan's on their timeline, meaning, he's an older guy and he needs to contribute to a contender.
Mm-hmm.
What I like about Kuzma is we just touched on it. He feels a need. He's a power forward, post player, whatever you want to call it. He's 6'10". He already, even in a down year, like you said, he's giving you 13 a game. he feels a need and he's very cheap. If I remember correctly, he's on the books for like $3.5 million a year, and he still has like 2 or 3 years left on the deal.
Yeah.
So you're getting him for dirt cheap.
Mhm.
And I know we're going to talk about free agents in a minute. He doesn't stop you from still going out and signing a big time free agent, even at the same position. I mean, because $3.5 million a year, if I'm not right, correct me on the comments, but if that's his salary right now, he can be a backup. Like, he's making backup money. So at the worst case scenario, he gives you good depth in the post. And then best case scenarios, he reaches his potential. Another thing I mentioned is that RC Buford, the front office likes him. They've made it known that they really liked him, that he might have been the pick if it wasn't, I think the Lakers got him right before the Spurs picked Derek White.
Mhm.
So they've had an infatuation with him. It just makes a lot of sense. I don't want to take on a big contract because at the end of the day, the Spurs' best weapon right now is cap space.
Yeah.
Kuzma doesn't eat that up,
Mhm.
and he feels a need. And again, if we went out and got a John Collins or someone that would start over Kuzma doesn't make enough to justify starting him. He can be a role player, and he'd be a really good one if truth be told. That's why I like the idea. I don't want to take on a lot of cap space.
Yeah.
But if we can make it work with Kuzma, maybe one other young player and a draft pick. We talked about the draft being very deep. If we could take I think they're picking 22nd. I would love to get another draft pick in this draft this year. And that's why I like Kuzma. Even 13 a game, I mean, that puts him right around, and his age. He's on our timeline. He's around the same age as Derek, DeJounte, Lonnie.
Yeah.
He fits. I don't know about the culture. That might be a little, but we're a young team. We're a young team. For so long, the Spurs were the old international player team.
Yeah.
Now, we're a young team, mainly American-born. Kuzma might be part of the new Spurs culture. But again, that's what I like the most because I don't see too many sign and trade partners for DeRozan where he's willing to be traded, sign a deal just to go over there. The Lakers are one, the Clippers are probably one, but the Clippers don't have anything I would personally want that they'd be willing to give up. Maybe the Sixers, but we're either going to let DeRozan walk for nothing, or we can get a pick and a Kuzma and maybe one other player, which I'm okay with.
So I'm cool with that too. I like the points that you made about the flexibility that he still allows this team to have over the next few years. Shout out to Gregory Castillo. Shout out thank you guys for the tip. Frenchie Betts, Patreon member, says he doesn't like his attitude, but he's a low risk. He's
low risk. Yeah,
he is low risk. And shout out to Eagle. I hope I'm saying that right. Eagle Hellgazen, Spurs fan from Iceland. Thank you for joining the show.
That's awesome, man. Dope.
Yes, Iceland. So why Spurs fan? Let us know in the chat. Why the Spurs fan?
Yeah, I want to know.
I'm interested to know too. Yeah. So thank you for hanging out. Please subscribe to the channel. So John, I'm sorry, not John. Joe, go ahead and hit me with it, man.
All right. So you talked about LeBron might be hurting Kuzma stock. And you're probably right because when Kuzma first started and entered the league, he was averaging 16 points. That was his rookie year. The second year, averaging 18.7 points, right? That's when LeBron came. LeBron got hurt that season. After that, he comes, he's averaging 12 points, 13 points per season. So I think if he breaks out of that and gets away from LeBron, gets away from AD and all that, he's going to get back up there to 18, 20 points. His trajectory was going up, and then LeBron comes, and then it goes down. So I only see big things for Kuzma as long as he puts in the work. And I think JD actually said something about culture. Does he fit this Spurs culture? I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know.
Some of the stuff that I've seen around, like social media and stuff, he might not fit the Spurs culture. And I might not be selling you on that note right there, but I think that he does fit what we need. And we need somebody that is big and tall, somebody that can hit the threes, somebody that can probably create his own shot. So I think that he does have a lot of upside. And if he has a small contract like $3 million a year, why not? So and we could.
I looked it up. It was 3.5, but it jumps to 13.
Jeez.
but it's still not crazy.
Kind of
But
like Derek White was, right?
yeah.
It's similar. He's only getting paid like 3 or 4 or 5, but now he's
So it
kind of
jumps to 13, but it also helps make the trade possible.
Mhm.
Just to throw that out there, are you still okay
Yeah,
with
because
13?
we have to take salary from the Lakers, right? They have
Yeah.
to dump salary somehow in the sign and trade. So the first round pick, I mean, that might only cost them a few million a year. I don't know what the pick 22 probably gets. I would think maybe around 3-4 million a year. Kuzma would be
13.
13, so that's about 16. That's something. I mean,
It's close. It's very close.
they can work the rest. You know, they can get rid of another player or whatever to make the salary work. But is that all you got on him, Joe? You have any more on Kuzma?
I think that's it, man. I'm just we need another shooter. So, and I know that I think you're down for another shooter. So
yeah,
you should get on the Kuzma train.
You know what? I just might. I've been saying, this all off season is that we need to address our shooting lack of shooting through free agency, and that would be a good look. I think he does check a lot of boxes for San Antonio, maybe. And I don't want to say he doesn't check the culture box. I think he's just a little LA. He's just a little LA right now because he's in LA. And I think if he came to San Antonio, it would work. And you guys are right. We did have our eye on him come draft time. All right, so let's see. Eagle, our Iceland fan, is dropping us with some knowledge. Here we go. In the 90s, it was mandatory to be a Bulls fan. In 99, people started looking around, and Robinson was my third most favorite player. It wasn't until 2003 when Tony Parker and Manu came along, and I became a Spurs for life. Just like many of us, Eagle. Just like many of us here. For sure, man. Tim Duncan, stoic demeanor, the international flavor versus the Lakers cockiness. Love it. That's exactly. Hey man, you're a Spurs fan. I don't know if anyone told you.
He likes the culture.
Yeah, you're a Spurs fan. I don't know if you knew that, but well, obviously you did. But thank you for hanging out, man. Appreciate you. Go Spurs, go. All right, guys. So free agents. We're talking about it just a little bit right now with Kyle Kuzma. I don't mind it. I think someone was asking, I don't remember who, saying what's in it for DeMar. And what's in it for DeMar is he gets to go to his hometown and play for the Lakers and actually go to where he wants to go, because he hasn't been able to do that. Besides re-signing with the Raptors, this is really the first time where he's going to be able to choose his own destiny. So we all know how he likes to rep Compton, right? Has the brand and everything like that. So I think going back to LA suits his interest very, very much, right? And I think another team, like you said, Philly. I think Philly's a good look for him as well. But yeah, are there any other free agents that you wouldn't mind bringing into the Spurs locker room this upcoming year? And they don't have to be like superstars. They could just be like role players or vets or I like shooters. I'm looking at all the shooters right now.
We have to get shooters.
The draft. So any of your free agents?
So 2 weeks ago, James Pledger from ESPN SA came on the show, and he made an amazing case for Lauri Markkanen.
Okay.
I mean, he's driving the Markkanen hype train, and he sold me on it. He's a big that spaces the floor extremely well. I mean, that's almost been the theme of this show today, right? Is spacing the floor, getting a big. I think it was either the Athletic or Bleacher Report. Made a prediction that the Spurs would be after him and they would land him for 15 a year. So he's not super expensive. He's 7 foot. I think he's 25 years old. So he's on he's in our core trajectory as far as age and timeline. Going back to DeRozan real quick, what's in it for him? DeRozan is not on our timeline. He's in a win now mode. Lakers are perfect. But a guy like Lauri Markkanen, he's on our timeline. We can pay him the 15 and not even blink. If Pirtle is the answer, if Pirtle's still the center for the Spurs, Markkanen can be that 4, the guy that stretches the floor, that gives some space in the paint, stuff that Pirtle can't do. What I also like about him is if we design an offense where he's a big part of it, he's got a lot of the same attributes as our Luka Salmon. So now you're designing a team for Lauri Markkanen, but you're also designing one in hopes of getting our Luka started. Now he becomes a role player that actually has a defined role on this team. I know on Twitter a lot of people don't want to take a flyer on Lauri Markkanen because of Luka. To me, I think you have two guys with the same skill sets. Now they become an integral part of your team.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when the Spurs drafted Duncan, even though we had Robinson, all we did was, hey, we're going to go extremely big down low, and that's just going to be who we are.
Mm-hmm.
I think, again, I think Lauri Markkanen, he's cheap enough. So because we could sign him for 15 mil and go after a John Collins still. Now you really upgraded your front court.
Yeah.
He stretches the floor. They both stretch the floor, which would help Keldon and Murray tremendously. But again, I think it does. Some people think it hinders Luka. I think it would help him. It would create a role that he can help fill.
Yeah, I think that Lauri, like you said, at 15 million, I don't think anyone will have a problem with that. I think what people have a problem with is overpaying for him. And I think a lot of Spurs Nation likes him. Joe, any free agents that are on your eye right now?
I think it's Lauri. Pledger, like John said, got us on the Markkanen train. So I think it's Markkanen or John Collins also, but there's going to be a lot of people after John Collins after the whole Hawks run right now in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I would definitely like to see him on there, but I know that the Hawks owner said he's probably not coming back, so we'll see what we'd have to do to get him. I know there's going to be a lot of interest around him from the league, but he's definitely a shooter. He was making like, what is he doing?
So we'd have to probably offer him the max because we'd have to overpay a little bit because we're not a playoff team. So you're going to have to overpay to get him to come. Are you guys okay with the max for Collins?
That I don't know about,
Yeah.
I don't think that
I don't want to do it either.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm going to give him a max contract, and if that's the case, then he can go.
Yeah.
I don't want him to go to the Mavericks, but I think that's where.
Besides a guy like Lauri, there's not too many other options as far as spending big money or a chunk of money.
Yeah.
Do you think Spurs Nation would be okay if we punted till next offseason, or was there going to be uproar? Because we'd be going into 2022 with a ton of cap space and nothing to show for it. If we come up flat, the Spurs Nation burn the Alamo Dome down.
So I think that the free agent class next year is better than this year. So having our cap space flexibility kind of stretch out until next season isn't a bad thing. And a few weeks ago I was saying that, look, let's just build around this team. Let's give the opportunities to these young guys that have kind of been waiting for it. Let's see what Luka can do. Let's give Lonnie some more shots, unleash Keldon a little bit more in the right position, and let's just fill in the gaps, right? Like shooters and some vets and some size, right? Like I like Bobby Portis right now with Milwaukee. I would love to get him. I'd rather pay him a little bit more than pay Collins a lot. Yeah, exactly. I would do that.
Yeah.
It's funny you said that because he was another guy that Pledger was really harping for. His point was Portis could develop into a star. So I mentioned it with Kai Jones and Giddey. You're kind of buying a lotto ticket and you're hoping it cashes in a year or two.
Yeah.
Pledger and we discussed Portis might be someone that takes a huge step forward. So to your point, maybe we do sign a Portis and call it overpay, but you're gambling on the future to a certain degree. I don't mind that.
Like on a 3-year deal, you know, something short with like a team option or something like that. I would really like. All right, guys. So before we wrap up the show, we'll make this one a little bit quicker since I think I kept you guys here a little bit longer. I know you guys want to watch this finals game.
You're good. You're good.
So do you have any like high expectations for some of the young guys? I'm gonna name a few in particular, like. Because we all know about Derek, we all know about DeJounte. We know that Lonnie was like on the fringe, and we need a little bit more from him. But I'm talking about guys like Luka, Devin Vassell. Obviously, KJ we know has all the potential in the world. But is there anyone kind of sleeping right now that you think is going to have kind of a huge, I don't want to say breakout season, but expanded season for sure with San Antonio?
I'm a big Trey Jones guy. I really like him.
Yeah.
He's already a great defender out of college. He's a floor general, comes from, we talked about Keldon being a blue chipper. Trey Jones is from Duke. I'm a big Trey Jones guy. I'm really hoping that the Spurs let him be their backup point guard. I really want to see him in a real, 15, 20 minutes a game type of role. Devin Vassell, I think we're all on the Vassell train. I think we all know, give him more minutes, he'll get it for you. I wouldn't even
taking my
mind.
spot.
Okay, I'll stick with Trey Jones. And I'm a big Trey Jones guy. I think we were on draft night last year. We were recording. We started recording after the first round pick, and Trey Jones was drafted while we were recording. And I remember, being very high on him. I liked what he did, and I always like when the guys go to Austin and then tear it up.
Yeah.
I know people complain, and there's validity to always sending our rookies to Austin. But if they're gonna go, you want them to blow up there.
Yeah.
Because if they go over there and they don't, then you're real worried. But Trey Jones did exactly what you wanted him to do in the G League, and then I just like him. He looks like he's Corey Joseph type, but with even more upside.
Yeah.
Pop loves those point guards that are really good defenders out of the gate. George Hill.
Yeah.
I mean, George Hill ended up becoming a really good pro. Trey Jones has a kind of attributes, the traits. He has a lot of George Hill, Corey Joseph traits, and I think he's someone, because of his background at Duke, you can give him the ball this year as the backup point, and he's not going to lose you a game. He's going to make good decisions. He's going to give you good defense. I'm a Trey Jones guy.
He was one of the players, I think, that surprised me. Just every time he stepped on the floor, it's like, oh wow, he can do this, or oh wow, he can do that, or oh wow, he's not weak. Like, he's small, but he's not weak at all.
Yeah,
He's a
I like
great
him
defender.
a lot. I give him some burn.
Yeah. So Joe, go ahead, man, hit me with it.
So Devin Vassell, JD was talking about him earlier. It's all about the minutes, man. At the beginning of the season, you saw him getting quality minutes, and then he wasn't giving us like 20 points a game, but he was developing into what he could be, with those minutes that he was getting. I just think that he just needs a little bit more time, actually playing time, and a little bit more time with Chip England. I know we mentioned him like 10 times already this year, or this show, but like,
we need to pay him more, man.
Yeah,
he's the guy. I think Devin Vassell is. Hopefully what is there, a sophomore team? Is there a rookie sophomore game next year, like an All-Star game? Is that a team more?
Yes.
So hopefully he makes that sophomore team, and
That's a good. I like you said. I'm glad you said that, because that means he's getting enough minutes to be on the sophomore team, and he's doing well with them. That's a good benchmark. I'm gonna write that down, Big Joe. We need to make sure he makes the sophomore team.
Yeah, for real.
A quiet sleeper is Drew Eubanks if he comes back. I don't know if he's coming back or not, but is he still signed?
I think so.
No, he's signed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, then Drew Eubanks is a sleeper too. I want to say he could even be a little bit better than Pirtle. He's got a better shot than Pirtle.
There's an argument there.
He reminds me of a Malik Rose type. He's a little undersized to be in the post, but he gives you so much hustle minutes.
But he plays bigger than Pirtle.
Yeah, he does. He reminds me of Malik Rose. Yeah. To Rob's point, I'm just excited to give the young guys the chance. We talked about Kuzma losing minutes. I'm losing, stats because of LeBron being there and Davis. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of these guys take a step forward without. Well, we're all assuming DeRozan and Gay are gone. Yeah. Nothing against them. They just they played a lot of ISO ball. They took a lot of the shots away from the young guys. I want to see. And again, if we crash and burn next year with these young guys, they're getting valuable time, but we just bottom out. I'm still okay with it, because I'm not expecting a championship next year. I haven't left my lawn chair on the Riverwalk for the parade. I'm gonna wait 2 years or so. But I'm okay with a complete youth movement. Let them throw them in the deep end, see which one sinks, which one swim. I'm very much okay with that. Like I said, if we add any free agents, I want them to be in the same age group as our young core. That's
I like that point. I like that point with Kuzma, that he does fit that timeline perfectly.
Yeah.
Perfectly.
And if he's going the opposite direction, but it would be nice if if he came here and along with DeJounte and Keldon and everyone else, let them swim in the deep end. Let them do it together as a young, exciting team.
So I'm with you guys. I'm with you guys on Devin Vassell and Trey Jones. I kind of feel like Vassell, and it's a little premature to say this, and I think that's kind of why no one's saying this, because we know how the Spurs operate, but he came into the gate and I think jumped past like everybody on our roster, jumped past Keldon, jumped past Lonnie, maybe even have jumped past, if DeJounte didn't grow this year, he might have even, talk about production on the floor at least, jump DeJounte. So I think he really might be the guy in a few years for the Spurs. And I think
I can see that.
You can see him just being in a guy that gets most of the shots, because it's always about like who gets the majority of the shot count. And I think if Devin Vassell got half, or a third of our buckets, I think he's going to knock him down, bro. And he might be a little bit more consistent with it at this point, definitely than Lonnie was, at least his freshman, sophomore year. You know what I mean? Because I think Lonnie has that capability too.
Lonnie Walker is the most athletic basketball player I've seen in a long time. At pure athleticism, Lonnie Walker jumps off the screen with his athleticism. If it ever fully comes together for him, he's got the highest ceiling on the team. But I don't know if it's ever going to reach that potential. But he looks like, you look at, when LeBron plays, you're like, Jesus, that's the best athlete on the court. Even Russell Westbrook, whatever you think about him, I know he's a very polarizing figure, but athletically, Russell Westbrook could probably play safety in the NFL. Lonnie Walker's that type of athlete. Like, if it ever clicks, Lonnie has the highest ceiling. I think Devin Vassell has the highest floor. Because at the very worst, Vassell's a 3-and-D Danny Green type player. That's the worst. You could plug him into the starting lineup next year, and he's giving you at least Danny Green type of production. And to your point, he could surpass everyone else on this team, and I don't think anyone would be surprised. And Keldon's a blue chipper. DeJounte Murray has improved his stats every single year, so there's no reason to think he's not going to keep getting better. But yeah, there's a lot of potential, and that's why, again, I wouldn't mind if we just threw the kids in the deep end and let's see which ones swim. I wouldn't mind that at all.
I feel like that's the Spurs thing to do also, is like hype everybody up. Oh, we might trade LaMarcus Aldridge at the trade deadline. Remember, like there was a lot of talk about that.
Yes.
There's going to be a lot of talk about everything, but what do we know is going to happen? Nothing. DeMar's going to walk. That's probably what is going to happen. He's going to walk. We're not going to get anything back for him unless it's like you said, a team that needs to sign and trade. Then we might. But yeah, and then we're going to run it back with the young guys, roll out the ball and say, let's go. It's your time.
I'm okay with that part. And I think that is the plan, because it's not a coincidence that every player over 30 years old, all their contracts are up at the same time. That's not a coincidence, because they extended Derek White, they extended Murray. I mean, they've made the extensions to the young guys. They didn't offer Aldridge. Matter of fact, they bought him out. But even if they didn't buy him out, his contract was up this year. They made a conscious decision to wipe the slate clean with all the aging vets. And I really, like you said, do not be surprised if we just roll the ball out and let the young guys go, because that's kind of the plan.
Yeah, I think so.
But they do have this cap space to go after guys, and I'm going to say it one more time. As long as they sign guys that are on the same timeline as the rest of this core, I'm good with it.
And let me say this to your point earlier, but before I wrap this thing up. If we do that, and you said if worst case scenario is that we bottom out and they just get experience, let me tell you what, we're not going to bottom out. We're not.
No, I don't think so either.
The worst we can be with DeJounte, Derek, and those young guys, I would say is playing territory. 10, 9, 8, maybe even 6. You know what I mean? If they can really take leaps forwards with this opportunity, you know what I'm saying? So I'm pretty confident in that. I don't want to, I don't think we'd ever be that bad, because we've seen what it takes to be the bottom of the barrel. Like Minnesota this year, Houston this year. It takes like a lot of bad luck, a lot of bad circumstance, a lot of shots not going in. You know what I mean? A lot of things have to go wrong for you to really fall that low.
And if we bottom out, then guess what? We get a top 3 pick, and we add a potential megastar to this core group, and that's not the worst thing either.
Yeah.
So I'm roll that ball out. I don't care. I'm not gonna be one of those fans that gets all upset if we don't make a big trade on draft day because I don't expect it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give up cap space for aging vets, and I don't want to give up this young core. So I'm gonna be all right if we just take our 2 picks and call it a day.
All right, guys. So thank you, definitely, guys, for hanging out. Everyone that's watching right now, please smash that like button down below. Chant Go Spurs Go when you do. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. Let you guys know when we're notified when we're gonna go live. But definitely check out the Spurs and Salsa podcast Spotify link in the description below to find their channel. JD, why don't you holler at Spurs Nation? Let them know where they can find you.
Yes. So we have a Facebook page. It's pretty lively. It's not just Spurs. It's all sports. Instagram is where we put all our food stuff. So if you're in town and you want to find some new restaurants around, go to @Spurs and Salsa on Instagram and Twitter. And then again, Facebook page, Spurs and Salsa. We're currently changing platforms. So right now we're only on Spotify, but we're by next week we should be back on Apple, Google, iHeartRadio. You can find our old episodes on all those platforms, and then we'll be back on all those for our new one starting next week. Thanks for having us. This was a lot of fun, man. I
appreciate you guys.
This is our first collaboration. I can't wait to do it again. Man, you got guys in Iceland watching you. That's big time.
That's crazy.
That's the YouTube audience, man. They're international in here, but that's the great thing about Spurs basketball. We're international there too, man. So, appreciate you guys definitely hanging out. You guys got I heard you guys got a new podcast feed, right?
Yeah, so that's why we're only on Spotify right now. But we'll be getting back on all platforms in the next week or two. But you can find all our old stuff as well. If you want to go that route. Again, we're very active on all social media, so hit us up. We'll see where Big Joe goes to eat next week. We do a lot of beer too, a lot of local beer. Anything local, we just love supporting stuff around town. And even if it's things around Texas, we'll do too. But Big Joe's the one that hits the town.
Big Joe, holler at Spurs Nation, man. Where can they find you?
Man, you guys can find us. I don't know if JD mentioned, but hit us up at Spurs and Salsa Twitter, at Spurs and Salsa. I'm really not that social media.
Yeah, I run most of this stuff.
It's all JD, but yeah, man, it was great being on here. You know,
it was,
one question I had for JD though. You mentioned timelines a lot. Did you watch Loki today? Is that why you keep saying timelines?
I'm not gonna lie. That word is in my mind because of Loki. Yes.
Okay, so I need 2 more episodes. I need 2 more episodes.
Oh man. All right, I'll shut up.
No, but I've been seeing headlines about stuff, so I'm a little aware of some things.
Yeah, you gotta stay on Twitter, man.
I know.
Social media gets you.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy that in this day and age, where everybody watches TV on their own time, shows like Loki can still you have to watch it right away, or it's gonna get ruined on social media.
Yeah.
It's crazy that Disney and other platforms have still created that for us.
Yeah.
That's like some things we could talk about too on our Spurs and Salsa.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Well, thank you guys, man, for sure for hanging out. Guys, make sure, again, go check out their podcast. The link is in the description below. Shout out to JD and Big Joe for hanging out. All right, Spurs Nation, thank you so much. Before you stop watching, if you haven't already, smash that like button down below. Subscribe to this channel. Definitely, guys, check out the links in the description below to our Patreon. Support the show. You get some perks along the way and get entered into some giveaways. We have an original Fiesta logo coming for you guys on a canvas that'll be given away in August. Yeah, man. So shout out to Spurs Nation. Thank you guys for supporting us. And go Spurs go. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Adios, Spurs Nation.
Hey, isn't we supposed to be having a fiesta?